Welcome to the Temple of Flame. And today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Private Selection, it is the Pineapple Habanero Cashews, kettle roasted. And naturally flavored. I just randomly saw these in a store. And so 2025, I think a lot of the chili head heat craze, as it were, has really tapered off this year. And it's cyclical. It tends to go in waves. We just came off of a pretty significant period of 22, 23, 24 where there's a lot of stuff coming out in that sphere. And now we're definitely seeing a taper. And of course, I tried to get to as much as I could. I think probably most of the creators still in this space will also try to get to. I don't know that anybody covers it quite the way I do, but there are a lot of them that'll at least try to get to some of it. And but anyway, this I just saw recently. So where I'm going with that is, I think the overall sphere is really tapered down, especially on the super hots. I haven't seen a lot of super hot stuff at all this year. That's new. But I have seen a whole ton of habanero stuff, particularly with the larger corporations. It seems like this is kind of the favored nation pepper right now, the habanero. And so anyway, I was like, okay, well, I should probably try it. And then now I'm just getting to it here to look at this and say, okay, we have cashew, sugar, corn syrup, salt, natural flavors. So there's not pineapple in this. There's not habanero in this. There's natural flavors. So now I'm wondering how funky this is actually going to be, because I had two pineapple habanero things from Better Goods. There's videos for both of those. Better Goods is Better Goods is Walmart's version of this. This is Kroger's sort of higher quality store brand, I guess, if you will. And Better Goods is very clearly meant to be a competitor to this. And now I'm wondering if this is going to use the same flavoring system. The flavoring system of the Better Goods, I mentioned it in both reviews. There's a barbecue sauce, and there was also these sesame crackers. But the flavoring system was awful. It was borderline putrid. And so if you like Jolly Rancher's hyper sweet pineapple, no habanero flavor to speak of, but that is the heat that they're trying to simulate with extract, then personally I don't like that, so I didn't like those. But I'm now fairly nervous that that's going to be what this is. But I'm not going to actually know that. Sitting here complaining about stuff I've reviewed in other reviews. You can check out both of those reviews. I think they're both in the Everything Else playlist if you're interested. So right away I'm getting a waft of the pineapple, and it does taste. It smells very fake. Oh man. The cashews look good, but I'm really nervous about this. I'm afraid we might have another Jolly Rancher pineapple flavoring debacle on our hands, but let's get into it and find out. Yeah. It's along those same lines. It's not as aggressively fake, though. It's more vaguely pineapple. Like if you get a Cascade Ice, for instance, if you get a pineapple there, it's closer to something like that, where it's not aggressively, punishingly hyper sweet. The salt in here definitely helps things. So this is misnamed, I think, at this point. This should be more of a salted pineapple. Like, call it salted pineapple. I think you're on the money. Well, nice pieces of cashews. They have a sort of candy texture to them. It's almost like they're candied. Good balance of salt with the sugar. The pineapple isn't offensive. Like, it's not good. I wouldn't get these again. I don't love this flavor. But I will, I mean, credit where it's due. These seem like they were somewhat more thoughtfully prepared than the Walmart, either of those two pineapple habanero products I had for Better Goods. All right, so let's go for a little burn here and see if we can get any heat out of this at all. I had a thought in there when I was eating these. You might have saw me snickering to myself. And that was because that thought was one I can't answer, and it was quite literally, why does this exist? And I kind of have the same question with those two Better Goods products I mentioned as well, except with those, the question was more about whether or not what they were putting out was what they intended to put out. Because neither of them are very good products. And to me, they're like, who are they for? Why are you putting this out? And did anybody actually bother to taste this before you packaged it up and you spent all the money designing labels and throwing it out there? One of those products, in fact, was, I think, probably not meeting the legal standards for labeling. The way it was on the shelves. But with this product, I am so confused as to why this exists at all. I just don't understand. It isn't... Who is this for? I mean, we'll go back to that, actually, because I think that's a good question. Who is this for? This pineapple cashews business, who is the audience? Is it chili heads? Because if it's chili heads, I feel like a lot of us know what that flavor is supposed to be like. We've had it in sauces hundreds of times. Or if not that many times, that's maybe just me, but we've had it enough to know what it is supposed to be doing. What's the flavor profile supposed to be? But pineapple is insanely popular, right? Pina coladas, pineapple on pizza, pineapple on the grill. You go to a churrasco and they have pineapple with this sort of salt solution that they're using a trompo basically trompo to basically cook it with that nice caramelization on it. If you're going to do that, so pineapple I don't think works very well artificially. It's one of those fruits that just doesn't work artificially. Some do. Like oranges, I like artificial. I like fake orange better than I like real orange by a lot. Pineapple I don't think lends itself well to that. And there's no heat to this. And when you don't get the salt there, it is this really sort of funky flavored mishmash of... It's a little hard to describe because like the cashews, I think they should have, first of all, went with whole cashews instead of these kind of halves and pieces. I think that would have helped a lot. So you have this high quality cashew, but you got this coating that it's kind of to the point where it tastes cheap if you don't have the salt with it. If you have the salt with it, it's tolerable. And I'm just like, why does this exist at all? Like, why are we doing this? Certainly there's better ways of doing cashews than this. I've had a number of the better ways of doing cashews. You know, here's our slogan: our brands are guaranteed. Love it or your money back. I don't love it, but I'm not going to go march back to the store. I mean, I'm going to finish the bag, but I am going to try to doctor it to make it better. But just as is, I probably actually would be taking this back if I wasn't going to attempt to play with it and try to actually fix it. It's not awful per se, but this sort of private selection is one of the... So what they're trying to do is they're trying to be able to sell their store brand at name brand prices. That's the whole intent behind this thing. And sometimes, I will say this, sometimes the private selection stuff is of greater quality than even name brand stuff. Like, I like some of their offerings much better than I like name brand stuff, just depending on what it is. And so, like, I get the intent behind it and stuff, but this is... It is just a very odd product. It's almost like somebody tried to come up with a gourmet combination and it just failed. And instead of going, okay, it's not there, it isn't there, what we're doing isn't working, they instead bagged it up and packaged it and threw it on the shelf. So these are very unimpressive. Again, like I said, no heat, no habanero flavor, which was true of the other ones as well. It's like habanero is just the golden child, I guess, for this year. We're just going to slap it on there and say, well, there you go. Here's the word habanero. And I think it's because it's considered more of a safe pepper now. It's hot, but it's safe. You know, people, when they see Ghost and Reaper and stuff, I think get nervous. You know, that they're going to get a face-melting experience. When they see habanero, they may get a little bit of a push, but it's not going to be punishing on that level. So I assume that's why it's here. It's just marketing as far as its inclusion here. Flavor is, like I said, it is better than the other two things I mentioned because it does have that nice sort of, it's borderline sea salt, kosher salt type, that sort of textured salt. When it's there, when it actually sticks to the cashews, it is not wholly unpleasant. but it's not something I want to have a lot of either. So I am going to try to tinker with these and try to make them better. I love cashews. I always have. Cashews are one of my favorites. And this just isn't it. I mean, that's the bottom line. This is just not a good flavoring system for these. This is the third product in a row now that I've had from these sort of corporate entities that are trying to use this exact combination. And for me, either they don't understand what that combination is supposed to be like, or they don't care. I don't know which it is. Maybe it's a little combination of both. But this one needs to go back to if you're going to do this, I don't think it's a completely unreasonable idea, but trying to do it completely artificially, except for cashews, sugars, and salts, I don't think is a smart approach. And to me, this is not success. It is better than the other two, but ultimately it is not successful either. And we'll just leave it right there. So that was the private selection pineapple habanero cashews. Now go forward in peace to serve the flame.